Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 5. The activities of Shakshi Gopal. First verse. Padbhyam chalanya prativa swarupo Brahmanya devo hi chatah gamyam Desham yayau viprakrute adbhuteham Tam Sakshi Gopalamaham natosmi. So Krishnadas Kaviraj starts each of his chapters with Sanskrit verse that more or less summarizes the pastime described in that chapter, while also stressing the highlight of that pastime. So here he says, Padbhyam with one's own leg, Chalan, he walked or went, Pratima Swarupo, in the form of the Pratima, in the form of the deity. Who was that? Brahmanya Devo Hishatah Gamyam. Brahmanya Devo. It's Krishna who is considered to be Brahmanya Dev, the Lord of the Brahmanas. Shatah Gamyam for 100 days. Desham Yayau Viprakrute Adbhuteham. Desham Yayau. He went to a distant country, Viprakrute, for the sake of benefiting a Brahmana. Adbhuteham. How wonderful is it? Tam Sakshi Gopal Aham Natosmi. And to that Sakshi Gopal, I offer my obeisances. Aham Natosmi. So here, here Krishnadas Kaviraj again emphasizes 3 points. He says that Lord walked on his own feet. Normally, the deity doesn't move by its own feet, but the deity moved. And not just a little bit, the deity moving a pot of kheer just from one place to another place for the sake of a devotee. It's such a great pastime that is the Ramuna's Kirchor Gopinath. And now in this case, Shatah Gamyam. So the deity walked, not just walked little distance, but walked for 100 days. Shatah Gamyam. How amazing it is. The deity walked for 100 days. And further, it said, Desham Yayau Viprakrute Adbhuteham. Desham Yayau. Why did the Lord do that? Viprakrute, for the sake of a Brahmana. So Viprakrute Adbhuteham. Such is the wonderful activity, Adbhuteham, of Tam Sakshi Gopalam. That Sakshi Gopal, Aham Natosmi, I bow down to him. So the amazing thing is that the Lord walked, and the Lord walked for 100 days, and the Lord walked for benefiting a Brahmana. So how special is it? How wonderful it is. And it is this pastime that he'll be narrating in this chapter. Second text. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So usually the second text in most chapters in Chaitanya Charitamrita is after an obeisance to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or to the central character of that particular deity in the first verse, or of that particular chapter in the first verse, then it is of obeisances to the Panchatattva. So Chaitanya, Nityananda, Advaita Chandra, and these 3 other primary characters. Chaitanya Charitamrita and describes how these 3 are the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tree, the 2 main branches were that of Advaitacharya and Nityananda Prabhu. So these 2 are talked about, and then the remaining 2 elements of Panchatattva and others are put in Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So all of them are glorified. So the pastime continues. The pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's going towards Nilachal, Jagannath Puri continues now. Third text. Chalite chalite aila Yajapur gram Varaha Thakur dekhi karila pranam. Chalite chalite aila. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept walking. When he was a sannyasi, at that time, the Kshatriyas would move around on horses and chariots and elephants. But the common people would usually move around on bullock carts or on feet. Sannyasis especially would move around on feet. So, Chalite Chalite, he walked. Chalite Chalite, Aila Yajapur Gram. Yajapur is a place famous for the deity of Varaha Dev. There are not many Varaha deities, and this particular Varaha deity was there. So he saw the deity and Karila Pranam. He offered obeisances to that deity. This is a characteristic of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travel. essentially the highlight, the landmark of his travels is visiting temples. That's what visiting temples and interacting with either devotees or spiritual teachers of other paths whom he preaches to and quite often transforms, converts. नृत्य गीत कैल प्रेमे बहुत स्तवन याज पूरे से रात्रि करीला यापन. Nritya Gita Kaile. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he considered himself to be the servant of the Lord, and as a servant, he wanted to give pleasure to the Lord. So, the servant gives pleasure to the Lord in various ways, the master in various ways. So, one way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave pleasure was by dancing and singing. So, he sang for the pleasure of the deities, danced for the pleasure of deities, and he was filled with love. Preme bahutastavan. With love, he praised the Lord. Yajapure se ratri. And this way, he spent the night in Yajpur. Karila yapan. He spent the night. Katake aila sakshi gopala dekhite. Gopala saundarya dekhi haila anandite. Katake aila. So then, from Yajpur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Katak. And there was the beautiful deity of Sakshi Gopal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beheld that deity, dekhite. Gopala saundarya dekhi. And when he beheld the beauty of Gopal, haila anandite, he became joyful. And normally when we love someone, just the sight of that person fills us with joy. And when we see that person is dressed and adorned beautifully, then that increases our joy. In fact, when there is love between two people, they dress each other, they dress beautifully just for the pleasure of their beloved. So the devotee desires to serve the Lord, and the Lord desires to reveal more and more of His beauty for His devotees. So when the deities, pujaris, are dressing and decorating the Lord, actually it is the Lord who is guiding them, inspiring them to dress and decorate the deity, by which the deity's beauty will be revealed to devotees. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the beauty of the Lord, he haila nandite, he became immensely happy. And just as in this world, when people see a beautiful sense object, then they feel delighted. That is a distorted version of the original pleasure that the devotee gets in relationship with the Lord. When the devotee serves and glorifies the Lord, at that time the devotee becomes delighted, and that's how that's the joy of a devotee's life. Premaveshe nitya gita kaila katakshan avishtahaya kaila gopalastavan. So there was the same ecstatic routine that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed everywhere. Normally routine is something which we consider to be monotonous, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's routine was ecstatic. Although routine means it is what he did every day, but it did not become humdrum, it did not become hackneyed, it did not become ordinary. Every day it was ecstatic, it was joyful. So what was that ecstatic routine of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Prema Veshe Nritya Gita Kaila Katakshan. For some time he performed being overwhelmed by love on seeing the beauty of Gopal. Nritya Gita, he danced and he sang. Avishtahaya. And again, Prema Veshe is mentioned in the first itself. But in the Avishtahaya, the more he danced and sang, greater was the love that permeated him, that overwhelmed him. And Avishtahaya Kaila Gopalastavan. And in this way, he praised Gopal profusely. Such were the ecstatic routines of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he beheld the Lord, danced for the Lord, and feasted on the Lord's beauty, and pleased the Lord by his dancing and singing. Thank you.